The following is a podcast of a presentation by Valerie Ewell of WheelerFrost Wealth Managers entitled Lowering Financial Stress with Planning. The presentation took place on June 26, 2013 at 57 Degrees Wine Bar in San Diego, California. Valerie is both a doctor of veterinary medicine and a certified financial planner. She was the co-owner of a very successful veterinary practice for over 20 years before pursuing a career in wealth management after identifying the need to assist other small business professionals to achieve their own financial desires.
Welcome. We're talking about stress tonight and how to manage stress. And so I'm going to start out talking about stress and money. Because at WheelerFrost we deal with wealth management, we're very familiar with the stresses that financial issues can cause. The American Psychological Association does an annual study that's called Stress in America. And they have identified the three top stressors, which are money, number one; work, number two; the economy, number three. And this ranking has held for the last 5 years. In this year's study, 75% of the participants said that they worried about money and financial issues. So what specifically do people worry about? Number one, not having enough money. And this can take a lot of forms. Younger people worry that they don't have enough money to provide the kind of lifestyle that they would like for their families. As they get a little older, they worry they don't have enough money to retire. Once they're retired or semi-retired, they worry that they're going to run out of money. And Alliance did a study that had participants in America over the age of 50, and 61% of them said that they worried more about running out of money than dying. So, shows you the priorities. The second specific worry is losing money. Obviously, we have just been in the greatest recession since the 1930s and the Great Depression. And many assets have gone down in value at the time, including stocks and bonds and even people's homes. And that was very scary and stressful for people. The third is the responsibility of having money. And you wouldn't think that this would be such a stressor, but for people who have significantly more money than they need to provide for themselves, most want to do something positive and worthwhile with their wealth. Obviously, charitable contributions can be very helpful, but you have to check out these charities. Some of them, all your money could go to paying administrative expenses, or make sure that they aren't going to change their focus and all of a sudden your money is not going to the area where you really wanted to make a difference. Of course, all of our family members would like us to pass on the wealth to them. But as we all know, different people have different levels of responsibility, and most would not want money going to some kid buying a Ferrari and becoming a ski bum. Oops. As you can see, most of the money stress really boils down to uncertainty. You don't know how long you're going to live. You don't know how healthy you're going to be. You don't know how the financial markets are going to perform. You don't know how your children and grandchildren are going to turn out. And so all of that provides a lot of uncertainty. But the way to deal with uncertainty is to be prepared, to have a plan, and realize what are your needs and what are your wishes and what are your goals, and try to develop a framework and a plan so that you can get rid of the worries. When you think of your plan and preparation, you can think of it in three parts. And the first is the discovery phase, and I kind of alluded to this because you need to sit down and figure out, where are you going in your financial life? What are your challenges? What are your needs and your wishes? And you put all those goals into a plan, a framework. Second, we need to make sure that we are protecting our assets. And the capital preservation, I have a list that is not complete, but when you think about it, we need to preserve our assets against death, and specifically premature death, medical costs, lawsuits, divorce, wealth transfer at death that we kind of talked about, job loss, disability, tax law changes, our friends in the government, property loss by things like accident and fire, and second marriage, that can cause lots of trials and tribulations, and then of course inflation. So the third part of your plan is to actually manage your wealth. And your assets should be managed with your goals and your risk tolerance at the forefront of the decision making. And I'm going to say that again because it's so important, that your assets should be managed with your goals and your risk tolerance at the forefront of the decision making. And management of assets is not a cookie cutter kind of a thing. It's not a one size fits all. It's very individual, and it depends on your goals, your age, your specific risk tolerance. And also under the wealth management part, we have the cash flow. This is different at different ages, but if you're younger, then the cash flow plan would be involved in setting up a savings plan, in managing your cash in order to make large purchases like a business or a home. When you get to semi-retirement or retirement stage, you absolutely want to know that on January 1st you have enough cash to fulfill your needs for the year, and you don't want to have to be running off and selling assets in a hurry, maybe at an inopportune moment, just to have enough cash to carry you through. It's obvious that financial issues are a major cause of stress for most people, and the brief description of the planning process, which is very brief, is how we help our clients at WheelerFrost to lower their stress levels. And by developing a roadmap and by managing your assets in accordance with that roadmap, we bring in confidence to financial life. We know where we're going, and we know that we can get there, greatly reducing financial stress. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to the expert, Dr. Oliver, and I'll be around for the rest of the night if you have any questions or comments.
Thank you very much for listening to our presentation. It's important to note that past performance is not a guarantee of future returns. Nothing presented in this presentation is or is intended to constitute investment advice, and no investment decision should be made based upon information provided in this presentation. While WheelerFrost has used reasonable efforts to obtain information from reliable sources, we make no representations or warranties as to the accuracy, reliability, or completeness of third-party information provided. Information provided reflects WheelerFrost's views at this particular time. Such views are subject to change at any point, and WheelerFrost shall not be obligated to provide notice of any change. Thank you once again.